All right, today I'm going to share with you some joint exercises that you can do every day as a wake up routine or middle of the day break or end of the day wind down. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start on the floor, seated. Extend your legs out, feet a little bit wider than your hips. Support back on your hands. And then now let's make some slow circles in one direction with your ankles. Most people tend to do these really fast, so take your time. Spread your toes. Make sure you're engaging all parts of the ankle and the foot here. A couple more times in this direction. And then now go ahead and switch. Go in the opposite direction. And to really isolate the ankles, you can work on keeping your knees and shins pointing up the whole time so they aren't rotating. So just notice where your ankle can move, notice where it can't move. A couple more. Good, and then now we'll go ahead and just bend the knees and let's do the toes. So let's start by lifting all 10 toes up, spread your toes out, and then big toes down, big toe back up, big toe down, big toe back up. While you're doing this, now we're not doing ankle circles, so keep your ankle and foot stable. Up, down, and then now switch. Keep your big toes up, 4 little toes down, big toes up, 4 little toes down and back up, down and back up. And then now bring all 10 toes down and just lift your big toes up, big toe back down, big toe back up, back down. 1 or 2 more like that. And then switch now 4 little toes up and try to keep your big toes down. Lift and spread your toes wide, create some space. All right, good. And then now let's go ahead and extend your legs again. We're going to clasp behind your right thigh, sit up tall, and any amount you're just straightening the leg and re-bending the knee. Straightening and bending. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Good, and then go ahead and switch sides. Clasp the opposite thigh, straighten and bend. And make it more challenging, sitting up a little bit taller, reaching your leg higher. You can always bring the leg lower, and whatever works for you. Notice how right feels compared to left. A couple more times. Good, last one. And bring the legs down and now stay supported on your hands back behind you. For this one, hands further back will be a little bit more accessible. Hands further forward and your spine taller, a little bit more challenging. So find the right place that works for you. Sit up nice and tall. We'll take a breath in. It's kind of like a windshield wipers motion in slow motion. We'll take that exhale, start to drop your knees over towards, let's say, your right side. Bring the inner left knee down. Now lift your left knee up first. Then eventually the right knee will follow, getting a little stretch on your inner leg lines, and exhaling over towards the other side. Inner right knee down. Now lift your right leg up first. Then the left leg will follow. Breathing here. Find your comfortable pace for you. Lifting one leg up, creating a little tension in the outer legs to stretch the inner legs. Rotating over towards the other side. A couple more times like that. Good, last one each side. And we'll come back to neutral. And now let's either come up to, if it's comfortable, sitting back with your toes curled under. If that doesn't work for you, you can stand in like a high kneeling position, or you could always sit in a chair or come up to standing. Otherwise, sit back on your toes. Let's bring your fingertips to your elbows and start to make some forward circles here. Keep your spine tall, jaw relaxed. And then now go in the opposite direction. Great, and then now let's do some full arm and shoulder rotations. So we'll start with your arms externally rotated, meaning palms up, biceps spinning up. We'll try to keep that for the first half of the movement, so external rotation. Bring your arms in towards the midline, then reach them up next to your ears. Once you can't go any farther, keep your elbows straight as you turn your palms and upper arms back in space. So now we're internally rotating the shoulder, reaching back until eventually you're halfway done. Pinkies are forward, thumbs back. Now go in reverse. Lead with your thumbs, keeping the arms internally rotated until you reach that spot you can't go any farther, then externally rotate. Reach your arms back as wide and as comfortable as you can. Back up overhead, forward, and then down. Let's try a few more like that. Keep your arms externally rotated as you bring them in towards the midline, up next to the ears. Internally rotate, keeping your elbows straight as you reach your arms back. Once you finish that half position, go in reverse. Reach your arms back, externally rotate again, up alongside the ears, forward towards the center, and back down. Let's try 2 more. Good. On this last one, really keep your elbows straight. Make sure you're not jutting your chest forward, head forwards, so we're isolating the movement in the shoulder. Last half repetition. All right, good. And then if you are on your toes or knees, now let's come into a seated position. You can sit back on your heels, sit cross-legged, or again, feel free to sit into a chair. And now let's do the head and neck. You're gonna reach your arms out about 45 degrees. You can either reach through the fingers or fists. Again, tall spine, shoulders down, away from the ears. Take a breath in, sit up a little bit taller here. Now we'll slowly start to articulate or bring your chin down into flexion until you feel a stretch in the back of the neck. From there, begin to rotate your head towards the right, side bend towards the right. Now lift your chin, extend your throat as you slowly rotate over towards the other side. Side bend towards the left, roll the chin down through the center, and then a couple more like that. Rotating and side bending to the right, extending the chin, stretching the throat, rotating left, side bending, and then flexing back down. 2 more like that. And then once you finish this last one, pause in the center and then reverse. Re-engage your shoulders down the back, reach through your fingers or fists, rotate and side bend. Extend, rotate and side bend towards the other side, and then roll the chin back down through the center. Take your time, eyes can be open or closed, jaw relaxed, feel the connections, the head into the neck, to the upper back, to the chest, and to the arms. 2 more like this. Good, last one, really take your time. Good, and then now let's come onto the hands and knees. Have the wrist crease directly underneath the shoulder and the knees directly underneath the hips. Let's move the spine now. So let's start off in extension. So tilt your pelvis forward so that when you do that, you feel more curve in your low back. Chest is forward, gaze is forward. Now let's start at the tailbone. Tuck the pelvis under, so posterior pelvic tilt as you slowly begin to round your lower, middle, upper back, and lastly, chin draws in towards the chest. Then from here, again, start with the tailbone, untuck the pelvis, start to tilt the pelvis forward, bringing that curve back into your low back, middle back, upper back, and then back to that starting position, chest forward, gaze forward. 2 more like that. Tuck the tailbone, round your lower back, middle back, upper back, and keep that engagement on the front to stretch the back. Once you've reached your flexion, again, starting at the pelvis, tilt the pelvis forward, low, middle, upper back. Eventually chest stretches forward, gaze forward. 1 more like this. Tucking tailbone, rounding low, middle, upper back. And then untucking, tilting the pelvis forward, bringing that curve back into the low back, and then extending the chest forward. Now 3, starting with the head and neck. So first we went bottom to top. Let's go top to bottom. Start, keep your elbows straight, lower your chin towards your chest. Now press that space in between your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, then your middle back, lower back, and eventually tuck the tailbone under. Keep all that, but slowly start to lift your chin, stretch the throat, drop the center of your chest, middle of the chest, lower back, and tilting the pelvis forward. Again, repeat, chin down, press the upper, middle, then lower back up skyward till you come back into that full flexion. Pause there, then reverse. Lift your head, and create the movement from top to bottom. Last round. Great job. And now let's come all the way up to standing. And let's do some wrist movements here. So we'll start with our elbows bent about 9 degrees. And this one's a little bit more complicated, so we'll try one at a time. So grab one forearm, have the opposite palm and wrist up. We're going to keep our fingers together, rotate in, flex or extend down, rotate out, and then flex up. So the idea is doing this nice and slow as well, keeping our forearm pointing up the whole time so that you can really isolate the movement in the wrist, just like we did with the ankles. And then switch and go in the opposite direction. You can notice if you want to hit the gas pedal, speed through, take your time. You might start to feel a little fatigue as long as there's no pain. 1 or 2 more. And then go ahead and switch. Elbow bent, forearm up, palm up, bring the fingers in, down, out, and then back up. And you're growing at your own pace. Checking with your breathing. Jaw relaxed, shoulders relaxed. One more in this direction. And then we'll go ahead and switch. Rotate in, up, out towards the side, then down. Good, last one. And then now for the elbows, we're going to start with the arms straight here. Rotate your forearms out, bicep curl up. Rotate your palms and forearms away from you, and then extend your elbows down. Rotate out, squeeze up, turn out, and then extend down. Do that a couple more times. Fingers can be together, fingers can be spreading. Whatever feels good, or alternate. And then now go in reverse. Bring the back of the hands up towards your shoulder, turn the forearms and palms towards you, and then extend down. And there's some tension in the arms. Sometimes get some cracks and pops out of the elbows. Good, last one. And then to shake out your wrists, shake out your hands. And then now for the upper back, bring your feet a little bit wider Then your hips, we're going to crisscross the arms, round just your upper back, so draw your chin in towards your chest. And for this one, firm your belly and think of everything below the navel being a statue, and we're just going to make a circle with our rib cage. So lower body stable, upper body is going to create the movement. From this flexion position, just like the neck, let's rotate towards the right, side bend towards the right, lift your chest, and then rotate left, side bend left, flex back down. Imagine you're drawing a circle with the sternum, so that bone right in the center of the rib cage. Good. Try not to speed up or slow down. Work towards taking yourself through some movement in your upper back, which is less mobile part of your spine. Pause in the center after you finish this last one, and then reverse. Rotate and side bend towards the left, lift your chest, rotate and side bend towards the right, and then flex back down. Make sure you refirm your belly, have a little engagement with the lower body, maybe even gripping the floor with your toes to remind yourself to keep the lower body stable, focus the movement in the upper body. Last one like this. Good, and then come back to the center. Now bring your feet about hip distance apart. Relax your arms down by your sides. Close your eyes. Take 3 breaths in the nose and out the mouth. Relaxing shoulders, fingers, palms. 2 more like that. And then after this last breath, just take a moment for observation. Notice how you feel. And then whenever you're ready, open up your eyes. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any feedbacks or comments, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks.